is this is day 4 of 30 days of lives, and so I'm here just sharing with you, and I am in a different location because I am at Vision Quest Metaphysical Bookstore in Everett, Washington. And I was doing readings today and I had a break. And so I decided to do a quick live. How about that? And so I wanted to talk about how I use my intuition. So um, I really love to share about how we can use our intuition in our everyday life because so many people um, think that intuition is just for cards, just so you can read cards, or just so you can read energy. But let me share with you a way that I am using my intuition. So, what has happened with me is I was doing actually a program. Hey, Dr. Marnie, thank you for joining. I was doing a program actually going into doing some continuing education units for license that my husband and I have. And so I was sitting there and I was doing the work and I was going through the stuff. Well, finally, I started getting tired, so I started just kind of just scrolling past all the different things that, they were teaching and all that kind of stuff. And so what I did was I decided to test my intuition, my intuition. I decided to test it. And so I started reading through, I took a deep breath, of course, to connect. And then I started reading through the questions and I started challenging myself to get the answers. Now, mind you, I had already skipped through all of the stuff that you're supposed to read in order to answer the questions. And so as I noticed that when I took a moment and I just waited and I asked for the answer would pop up in front of my face and I would see it in the list of answers and I would choose it. And when I chose the one that popped up for me, it was always correct. And so what that taught me was I need to choose the one that pops up first. So the first thing that pops into my head when I look at the question, even if it's something that I didn't know, because this was stuff that I had not studied before. I did not, this was some different stuff. Now I've been doing these things for a few years, so I do have a small knowledge base of it. But this part of it I didn't because I had never done that before. So I decided to test my intuition and to use my intuition because that is the process that I've been doing now is learning how to use my intuition better, especially because I'm loving to teach it. So I'm teaching, before I forget, a 4-week workshop or class or course or whatever you want to call it on awakening your intuition. And we're going to talk about our spiritual gifts, how each one of them are, and how to use our intuition. We're going to have exercises. I actually am preparing a PDF with different exercises that you can use to increase your intuition, to show you how to use that in your everyday life, in your work, in the things that you do. And so that is one of the examples I wanted to share is that I didn't even read all the information. I just started reading the answers, the questions on the exam. And I just, as I read through them, and you know what's wild? I passed all of those exams. I had, I think, 5 or 6 of them to do. And I did that with each one of them, actually with most of them. I'm going to say most because I did study and read, I think, 2 of them because I wasn't as exhausted, but I needed to get it done. And so I just kind of just went through the stuff. They used to let you just take the test. And so I think I used to use my intuition always with that, but I hadn't practiced it in that way. And so now I started practicing in that way, using my intuition, listening to, and for me, those of you that have not seen me before, I am hella clairaudient. So spirit speaks to me all the time. I hear spirit all the time. That is my strongest gift. I also am clairsentient. I actually have all the gifts, but clairaudience is the strongest one. So if I am trying to get information, usually I get it by hearing the message, hearing the words, and then there are times when, just like I just said, I use clairvoyance because I see it. I can see the information. I can see the answer. And when I was a child, I was that child that had a photographic memory. I could look at something and I could recreate the memory in my mind and see it. And that was, a way that I went through school that way a lot of times, because there are times when, I didn't study, and then there are times when I didn't want to. So now I can see that this is, happening more as I consciously use it. Because that was actually an exercise for myself where I consciously use my intuition to pass this test. And so you could do that in every area. I used to use it a lot when I worked in facilities and stuff because they used to wonder how I just knew things, and sometimes, as I connect with the patients and as I connect with, the staff and all that stuff, I would be able to use my intuition to, share things with them that they needed to know, things that, maybe that they didn't know. So you can use it in any area. And especially if you are a person that is, doing any kind of speaking. If you're doing any kind of speaking, you can intuitively read the room. And that is another area that I know is perfect. And I know that it is something that is so helpful in careers. You can intuitively read the room. I can go in any room, bring my energy in that room, and read that room. I can tell whether people like me, whether they don't like me, whether they're going to pay attention, whether, any type of thing like that, I can tell. And I've had this gift forever. I just didn't always use it because I didn't realize that it was a gift. I didn't realize that it was something that I could use all the time in everyday life. And so our intuition is like that. We can use it in everyday life and we can use it all the time. We don't have to just turn it off and turn it on for certain situations because that is what a lot of people do. But this intuition is not compartmental. So you can use it in every area. You can use it when you're looking at jobs to tell whether or not that is the job for you. You can use your intuition when you are looking at texts or emails or any type of written communication. You can look at that. You can feel the energy in behind the words. I have done that so many times, and it's amazing because my husband actually is so encouraging to me because he tells me all the time, don't forget how intuitive you are in all situations. And so I'm seeing it more and more because I'm consciously working on that. That is a conscious thing that I am improving and wanting to improve in my life because I know that I do possess these gifts and I know that I have to use them. Because you know what happens if you don't use it? You lose it. And so as time has gone on, I realized that that is something that I love. I love to be able to teach this. I love to be able to share about it. I love to be able to do it. And I love the results that happen because of it. Because when you start to really trust your intuition and start to use it, now, mind you, you're not always going to be at a space where you completely trust. I don't know if that ever happens. I hope so. I have hope, and I pray that it does. But I don't know if it will ever happen, but where you 100% trust yourself. But you can get damn close, and you can really start to see the difference in your life as you're shifting and moving and as you're doing the things that you need to do in this planet, in this earth. And so it's going to help you also in relationships because I tell you, my husband and I, we have been together in this life and this planet about 10 years. And he is probably as intuitive or maybe even more than I am. He's a little bit older than me, so maybe more. But he's intuitive. And so we actually, intuit with each other and we feed off each other. And so in a relationship, that is what you should do. And I'm not saying whatever kind of relationship it is, whatever works for you, that's what you do, whoever you are in relationship with. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships on your job or relationships with your children, or relationships with friends, or even with family, all of that, when you start really to tap into your intuitive gifts, because we all have them. You know, a lot of people think that they don't have intuitive gifts, but the more that I work with people, the more that I see that we all have them. We all have them. We all have them. So, as you begin to open up that door and as you begin to see, you know, and the thing is it is not, it's a long game. So you want to play the long game, because it really is the game of life. And that's really how you play it, is by tapping into your intuition and trusting the guidance that you're receiving. You know, and so that was something for me that was amazing, because I was doing this thing and I was trying to get, I had a deadline, y'all. Okay, so I had a deadline, and you know, I could go to you know, like a AA meeting for procrastinators, because my name is Tammy Yancy Morrison, and I am a procrastinator. So I waited to the last minute to do it, so I had to get it done. And so I really started thinking about, you know, how I could do it. And so when it came through to me to use your intuition, really, because the thing is everything that you need has already been put inside of you. Now, we love to do courses and classes, and I think they're great, and I've done many of them. Matter of fact, I'm doing some now, and I'm about to sign up with another one, because it's, you know, it's within what I can do. And I enjoyed the teacher, and so yeah, so I mean, I love courses and classes. I'm not doing a lot of major ones right now, because I don't have the bandwidth to do it, and I just can't, because I have all these other things going on that I'm doing. I'm still working on this book that Dr. Marnie and I are doing on passing the pearls. It's stories about our grandmother. I'm actually communicating with a few people this week to ask them if they wanted to join us. But yeah, so I'm doing that, and I have, you know, work, and right now I'm working in a physical store. You know, lots of things. You know, got a lot of stuff, and so but anyway, intuition, as you start to really use it, it's going to bless you and help you so much in your life. You know, and it's not hard to do, but it takes practice. You know, it's a muscle, just like anything else. If you sit on the couch and you don't ever get up, guess what? Your muscles are going to atrophy. That's what happens. And that's the same thing that happens with intuition. You know, that muscle will atrophy. You won't miss it. But you can. You can. You can actually move mountains with your mind. I've seen people do all kinds of incredible things with their mind once they get to a place where they believe it. So I was listening to Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey today. That popped up in I think a TikTok I was watching, but it was that song "When You Believe," and that was one of the things that I started thinking about when I wanted to make this video, because I said, you know, when you believe, it's miracles. You just got to believe. And so when you really set your intentions and you start, and this is a good time, y'all, to set your intentions. It's the full moon energy, and she was beautiful last night. So this is a good time to set your intentions and really say, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to increase my intuition so that it can help me in my everyday life. So I'm actually um, doing some other things about intuition, because I know that it is so necessary and so many people don't understand it. So again, I have this 4-week workshop, and I have I have it on Eventbrite, so I'll drop the link in the comments if anybody is interested in joining. It is 4 weeks, and we're going to cover intuition. We're going to get in there and really talk about how to begin to use these gifts that we have in our everyday life, because they're not just to talk about, and they're not just for me to come on here and share with you about intuition, or for me to come in here and, you know, read a card or anything like that, which I'm going to pull one right now for all of us. But it's not for that. It is for you to use in your everyday life, in your job, in your work, with your kids. You know, we have so many different compartments in our life, and intuition is not compartmental. So why are we keeping it there? Why are we keeping it there instead of using it in our everyday life? And so that is, I think I will preach that and scream that from the rooftops. Let's use our intuition in our everyday life and stop trying to keep it on the sidelines or just use it for a parlor trick. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop doing that. So the message that has come through from these cards today is talk to your guides. Talk to your guides. And so when I feel into this card, you know, if one of you can see that girl down there. But when I feel into this card, I'm feeling like your guides are feeling lonely because you ain't talking to them. And so that is actually also a part of using your intuition, is connecting with your spirit team, with your source, with your guides. And so your guides are screaming at you. The answers that you are seeking, you can talk to your guides. You need to talk to your guides. That is the guidance that I am bringing today. Talk to your guides. They're there for a reason. You know, they can't do nothing until you tell them. Till you give them information. You give them advice. You share with them. So, hope that was helpful for you today. I appreciate everyone for joining me. This was day 4 of 30. So I'll be back on for 26 more days. I'm trying to do it consecutively. If I don't feel, if my energy's not right, I won't do it. But day 4 of 30. So thank you for joining me. And I hope to see some of you on in my Awakening Your Intuition. And there's also a group, Awakening Your Intuition on that's awesome. That is so powerful, Dr. Marty. You know what that means? That means you were on point, in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, getting the same messages that align. Awesome. That is so powerful. I love it. You know what I've been getting for the last 2 weeks? Because I pull for myself every day. Trust your intuition. That has been what I've been getting. So that's why I kind of have been really focusing on that, because I know if I'm getting that message, then many more people are getting it as well. So again, I appreciate you. I thank you, Dr. Marnie, and everyone that has joined and is joining. I appreciate you, and I love the fact that I can come on here and talk to y'all about intuition. So again, I will see you guys tomorrow. Matter of fact, I'm going to do my day 5 of 30 tomorrow. And I think my husband and I will also do Sunday service probably in the evening because he works tomorrow. So again, thank y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, weekend, whatever it is for you. Remember to trust your intuition. Trust it, because it will never lead you wrong. Bye now.